Naofumi's Lolicon quest continues as he tries to find a magic gem for his brand new bird buddy. Raise your shields and prepare for excitement, my friends. It's time to take a look at another episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero. Another fantastic episode which is filled with a surprising amount of heart. And a lot of that is owed to the brand new character who goes by the name of Filo, who started out as a little bird and has transformed into a lowly anime girl. And I'm not just saying it to say it, even the blacksmith calls out Naofumi on this fact. His entire crew basically consists of a bunch of lowly anime girls, and it's really funny because for the type of character that he is, at least the way he was in the real world, you think this is something that would absolutely rock his world, but for the most part it kind of just annoys him, especially because both Raftalia and Filo are constantly vying for the love of Naofumi. They have this unspoken competition with one another where they're constantly trying to gain the affection of Naofumi, and honestly watching it happen is pretty funny. But this episode right here was action-packed and featured some pretty big revelations about the series, the world, and the future of the series. But the main story itself is that Naofumi is worried that while Filo can transform into a giant destructive bird of hilariousness, every single time she does this, she's going to rip her clothing. So he has to find some sort of magic clothing which is actually going to stay on her and still allow her to transform. The thing is, in order to do this, he's going to need some magic thread. And in order to get that magic thread, you're going to have to get this magic gemstone, which can be spun into the thread, which will create her special clothes. Get it? Got it? Good. And so Naofumi, Raftalia, and Filo go on a journey to try and find this magic gemstone, and in doing so, they end up running into a lot of people and learning a little bit more about the mysteries of this world. First and foremost, it was already implied in the previous episode that Naofumi and his team were going to be able to make a lot of money by trading with people from various towns. Here's where we really get to see it come to fruition, where initially they end up meeting this guy on the road who's desperately trying to get to his village to help out his sick mother. Naofumi decides to jump on Filo. They go for a ride, which is absolutely hilarious considering that Filo can run like Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog, and they end up saving the day. This is when the light bulb goes off in Naofumi's head, and he realizes, you know what? I can make a lot of bank doing this. And that's exactly what he does. He ends up becoming this legendary trader amongst the people. So legendary, in fact, that it actually ends up catching the attention of some bandits who try to rip him off. And what was going to probably end up turning into a massive action scene just ended up turning into a hilarious moment where Raftalia and Filo single-handedly take out all of these goons quite easily, to the point where Naofumi doesn't really have to do anything, and to be honest, that's perfect. This is exactly what he's wanted the entire time. He's the shield hero. He needs people to attack for him, and Filo and Raftalia are more than capable. They seem to be getting even more powerful. This is made even more clear with the character of Filo. Apparently the reason that she's so powerful and even has a human form is because she is a Queen Filolyle. There are kings and there are queens, and they are very rare, and they have the ability to transform into a human form. As for Raftalia, I don't know if she's some sort of super rare demi-human, or maybe she's just basically badass. I hope it's just that, as really she's still one of my favorite characters from the series, if not my favorite character. After the defeat of the bandits, Naofumi decides to rip all of them off by making them pay for their lives with pretty much every single thing that they own. Food, gold, weapons, whatever they can take from these guys, they're gonna get it. And they actually end up helping out this trader and seller who ends up giving a lot of information to Naofumi about the world. How to craft stones, how to imbue things with mana. Basically, little by little, he's starting to learn the true rules of this world. And in doing so, he even hears about the exploits of his fellow heroes, like Motoyos and Slutbitch, who are going around saving a village and helping out all of these starving people. More on that later. There's also Itsuki, who is the most mysterious of the group. A lot of people are spinning yarns about this guy, that he's pretty much training on his own, going on mystical adventures. They're trying to make this character as mysterious as possible. And as for Ren, well, he's just slaying dragons like a boss. And I gotta say, this dragon looks fucking awesome. It looks like Ridley from Metroid on steroids. But the main conflict of the episode is when Naofumi and his team go to this mysterious cave, and they're actually being guided by that one witch who's going to be responsible for taking this gemstone and turning it into thread. When they go into this place for the very first time, they find this mysterious chest, which is empty, with a warning about some sort of mystical seed, which is going to bring about some sort of danger in the world, even though it could potentially help those that are hungry. My first thought was, maybe this is how Motoyas actually ended up helping that village. Mine decided to bring him to this place, they found this mystical thing which could help out all of these starving people, but of course because Mine was involved, some bad shit's going to go down. That's just a personal theory on my part, as they don't really elaborate much on that as they go further into the cave and they suddenly find the mystical gemstone, except that it's being guarded by a Nue, a mystical beast. And the only reason I know what this thing is because I watched the Boruto anime series, and a Nue played a very important role in the first arc of that series. Essentially, it's a giant chimera beast, which is like half ape, half lion, with a giant snake tail with electrical powers. It's awesome, and watching these characters team up against it is honestly one of the coolest action scenes that I've seen from the series. It's very brief, but watching everyone work together was just awesome. Especially the scene where Filo actually kicks this thing in the face, and they even show you this like X-ray vision of its skull getting completely crushed. It's like something out of Mortal Kombat, and it was just awesome. Even though Filo is big, goofy, and hilarious looking, she can really bring all sorts of pain. They end up getting the gemstone, Filo is able to weave it into a special thread, and they end up going to this incredibly eager dressmaker who makes a super adorable costume for Filo, which will allow her to wear it, transform without the suit actually tearing apart. This dressmaker, by the way, is a really fun character, as she's basically just obsessed with everything that is cute, and you can tell that she's just having a field day of working with Filo. Not to mention just all of the funny things she says to Naofumi, referring to him as the father. It leads to another scene earlier on in the episode where Naofumi says that he sees Raftalia as something as a daughter, and she gets kind of upset about this to the point where I'm starting to think that maybe she's falling in love with Naofumi. So what's the rundown on this episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero? Another really great episode in my opinion, and I'm really glad that we're finally getting on the road and going on a grand adventure. We really get to see the true expanse of this world, and it was really great finally getting to see it unfold and getting to see more of Naofumi's reactions with the world. Because before, it was very poisonous and incredibly toxic. Now, he's a revered hero who's going around saving people, giving people medicine, and beating up bandits. He truly is transforming into the hero that everyone expected him to be, and I really love that. But of course, the main star of this episode has got to be Filo. She has certainly warmed my heart with her incredibly bubbly personality. However, there is a dark element to her character, and something that, again, I think is going to draw a little bit of controversy, maybe here in the States, maybe not so much in Japan, but the fact that Naofumi is able to control her because he also ends up putting a slavery brand on her, which I didn't think was completely necessary, as even without it, I think that Filo would be incredibly devoted to Naofumi, but it still happens. Now he has full control over everything. Another thing that I really liked about this episode is how in the middle they took the time to explain a little bit more about how the world works, how the magic happens, and getting to see Naofumi actually learn magic was really awesome. And the best part was, they didn't have to spend an entire arc actually showing how it worked. They got right to it, they got to the next main part of the story, and it never skipped a beat. It just kept on going, and it was incredibly entertaining to see. The battle with the Nue, while it was very short, was also just pretty damn awesome. Like I said, the combination attack of Filo, Raftalia, and Naofumi was really awesome to see. Raftalia in particular is getting more fun as she has this brand new Mirage technique which allows her to basically become invisible, acting like the fucking Predator, and it's awesome. She's just such a great character in every way, and I love seeing her grow continuously as the series goes on. And while things are going pretty swimmingly for Naofumi, there are still some things that are definitely annoying him about this world, like the fact that people still try to take advantage of the fact that he's the shield hero who has been disgraced from the kingdom that he came from. Like, the bandits try to actually trick him at first until he threatens them into thinking that Filo's going to eat them alive. This ends up working to his advantage when he realizes that he can just rip all of these assholes off, and, well, it ended up working really well for him. And most importantly, I'm actually starting to like more of the side characters in the series. At the beginning of the show, I pretty much hated everyone except for the two main characters, but now that we actually have some characters who generally are good and want to help out Naofumi, I'm really on board with all of this. I really can't wait to see him sort of convince the world that he's not such a bad guy, and he was basically framed by mine. I'm still waiting for the moment where eventually everything's going to be revealed about how she tricked him, and hopefully there'll be some massive repercussions for her. And like I said, I still think there's a connection between that seed that's missing from the cave and the fact that Motoyas and mine ended up saving a village that was desperately hungry and couldn't grow any crops. If that's really what's going on here, well, that's going to be crazy, and I'm sure it's going to lead to even more conflict as the series goes on. Really, this was another fantastic episode, building upon the world, introducing more fun characters, and giving us an awesome battle against a mystical creature. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, this was a pretty solid episode. Production value-wise, it was also a pretty good-looking one. There are moments, of course, where it looks kind of generic, but for the most part, when the action kicks in, it's really solid, it's super fast, and it's hard-hitting. Like I said, just look at Filo kicking that Nue in the face. So, I'm giving the episode a 5 out of 5. You guys need to check it out, and I'd love to get your thoughts about the episode. If any of you did watch it, tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you had a favorite moment. What do you think of the addition of Filo to the series, and what do you hope to see from the rest of the Rising of the Shield Hero? Thank you all for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.